Good afternoon, I'm Peter Bartinik, a board-certified civil trial attorney practicing law here in Connecticut. Today's topic is medical malpractice, and I will talk to you briefly about how we might analyze a medical malpractice case involving a stroke. And the question is whether or not the doctor in this particular case analyzed a film properly, an MRI film, to determine whether or not a stroke was occurring so that they could have saved the patient's life. So the facts are, the patient goes into the emergency room with symptoms of pain in the neck, nausea. Now those symptoms could be a stroke, but it could be a lot of other things. The doctor decided to run a film, and so we have an MRI film, and the doctor sent the patient home with some pain medication. A few days later, the patient suffered a very serious stroke, massive hemorrhage. So the question is whether or not that initial film should have been picked, some bleed should have been picked up. And so how do we evaluate the situation? First of all, when we evaluate a medical malpractice case, one of the rules in Connecticut is you have to have a certificate of a similar healthcare provider. So first of all, we identify the type of doctor we're dealing with who we believe made the medical error, and we have the factual scenario examined by a similar healthcare provider. And if that doctor is board certified, we've got to find a board certified doctor to evaluate the situation. So in this case, we felt that the film possibly missed a bleed, so we had the film reviewed to determine whether there was an early bleed that should have been picked up. And the next question to evaluate a medical malpractice case are the damages. Were the damages caused by the medical malpractice, or were the damages caused by the underlying event that led to the medical care in the first place? So in this case, we had a person walking, breathing, moving fine when they initially made that emergency room presentation, and had a stroke been picked up in that first presentation, medical care could have been given and this situation could have been changed. So in this situation, there's clear damages. So those are two things we look at when we examine a medical malpractice case involving a stroke. Number one, we have to have it evaluated by a similar healthcare provider, and we had the specific act that we were concerned about. That gets reviewed by a similar healthcare provider, and if there's medical malpractice occurred, then we have to have damages caused by the medical malpractice and not by the underlying event. So in this case, the damage is caused by the failure to pick up the stroke on the film in the first emergency room visit. I hope this information is useful. Have a good afternoon. Bye-bye.